everything and all the success to all the coaches he's got around him, to the players, a true class act, strong character guy, and even Coach Torpy, the guy lining up against him tonight, even commended him on how well he teaches the fundamentals and how well Duke just plays the game.
Davis Sampier wins the first face-off for the High Point Panthers. And as the shot clock counts down, there you see it on your screen, just below 70. You alluded to the addition of the shot clock this year, one of the major rule changes in college men's lacrosse. For more on that, we send it down to the third member of our broadcast crew, Rebecca Fiorentino. Rebecca.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, as you mentioned, these teams both only having one game under their belt with the addition of the shot clock. I talked to Sean Lowry out of Duke, and he says it hasn't really affected the team very much yet. They have played fast in the past. He says the only addition is they have more possessions, and they may have more shots as well. They had 50 against Furman, but as an offensive player, he says it makes it a lot more fun. Joe, I know you guys didn't have the shot clock back then, but what do you think of the addition of the new shot clock?
I think it's great. I think that it allows, like you mentioned, a lot more possessions, and you get to see guys play a lot faster in between the lines as we see Duke running down the field here to set up their transition offense.
Yeah, Peter Welch trying to play fast, maybe a bit too quick there in transition. Turnover for the Blue Devils, and High Point will get it back. And the nature of college sports, every year it seems like there are tweaks to the rules. I don't care what sport you're talking about. It happens in tennis, men's and women's lacrosse. They've each added a shot clock in the last few years. There's the dive rule that's now back in the game.
Love that. Yep. I think the shot clock is really a good addition. Teams in the past were able to take the ball and pull it behind the cage, take the air out of it. In a game like this, maybe it's a little uneven and allows the team to not maybe see the ball as much, where now, again, it's creating more possessions. You're allowing to be more creative on offense when you've got a low shot clock and you get to run towards the cage and dive at it. It just creates a better experience for the viewer, that's for sure.
Hunter Vines, ton of speed, goes in behind the cage. And Baker, Giles Harris watching him. The feed in front. It was Asher Nolting looking to set things up. Instead, ground ball picked up by the Panthers. 20 on the shot clock. That one whipped in toward Upgren, Turner Upgren, who's waited his turn and now getting a chance to start.
That's a big-time ground ball. To be more creative on offense when you've got a low shot clock and you get to run towards the cage and dive at it. Just creates a better experience for the viewer.
Hunter Harris watching him. The feed behind the cage. And Baker, Giles looking to set things up. Instead, ground ball picked up by the Panthers. 20 on the shot clock. That one whipped in toward Upgren, Turner Upgren, who's waited his turn and now getting a chance to start. That ball is picked up by High Point. Good energy from the Panthers here at the outset, under the lights here on the road.
That's a big-time ground ball for High Point. Coach Torpy stressed that he works a lot with riding, especially with these attackmen. And you see Nolting there with the ball. I love his game. Coach Torpy related him to Magic Johnson, a guy that can score, a guy that can distribute. And he's a selfless player. He's got a little bit of box background too, and man, he's fun to watch.
Nice save by Upgren. The rebound was put just wide. And then Rapphorst does not win the race to the end line. Referee says it'll stay with High Point. Thought he might have been there first. Panthers have had possession quite a bit here in the first 3 minutes.
Here's a big moment here for High Point. Again, a shot clock is running down. They get a reset. They chase the ball down, and here they get a third opportunity at a fresh shot clock. And big save by Upgren.
Upgren has been sharp here early. A number of saves here at the outset. 3 officially. Giles Harris the other way. Blue Devils for the first time. Robertson sends that one wide. Joe Robertson, 4 goals in the season opener against Furman. Has a dozen hat tricks in 21 career games. So High Point possesses for about 3 minutes. Duke has it for about 20 seconds. And back on the other end, the Panthers operating. As Nolting slows things down a bit, Coach John Torpy thinks Nolting might be one of the very best players in America. He admitted, look, I'm a little biased, but this guy is special. You talked about the comparison to Magic Johnson. A year ago, 30 goals, 36 assists, 66 total points. First guy with 30 and 30 plus at High Point or in the SoCon in general.
Not to mention Offensive Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year. This kid, he's got the total package. He's a smart kid. Coach Torpy loves his work ethic. Great kid. Love watching him play. It's going to be a good matchup watching him and Cade battle all night.
That one is shot wide. Backed up nicely by Chris Young, who had 4 goals against St. Bonaventure. High Point just outclassed the Bonnies. And we'll have our first penalty.
Yeah, Fowler, I think he got a penalty here. It's going to be a minute for a slash. We're going to see High Point's man up come on. And Duke's man
against Furman. Finds himself in the box, though, as the man down unit for the Blue Devils goes to work. High Point looking for the early lead here. Finds its way back to Nolting. Nice feed down low, and the save by Upgren. On the doorstep, Sean Coughlin. Garden City native, knows a lot of these guys on this Blue Devils roster. Couldn't put it past the senior goaltender, who is off to a tremendous start.
It was a great look, one-on-one with the goalie. Guys are supposed to score that goal. Great job by Turner shutting the door there and giving his defense another chance here to get a stop.
And you can see Nolting's abilities as a feeder. 15 to go on the penalty to Fowler. Nolting, another nice dish. And that one is put in the back of the cage. Chris Young to finish. High Point, the 1-0 lead. 7 seconds left in the man-up opportunity, and the Panthers convert.
High Point did a great job there of pulling the Duke defense out, and that's the second skip pass that they were able to get through for a one-on-one with the goalie. And here we see Nolting. He's shopping around, and he finds the guy in the back pipe there. What a great finish. Unbelievable feed. Great finish. This one, throwing it in front of the goalie. Awesome job by High Point scoring first.
5th goal of the season for Chris Young. What a start he is off to. 5th-year senior from Canada, one of the captains of this team.
I think Chris spent some time down at IMG. He's, again, a guy you need to be aware of at all times when he's around the cage. He's a guy Coach Torpy loves, again, his work ethic in the riding game as well as his ability to pick up rebounds around the cage.
Off the violation, Duke will have possession. Duke really just the one unsettled opportunity. They have not had a prolonged possession yet in the box until now. Here's C.J. Carpenter, a hat trick against Furman. Lightly used player, didn't see a ton of playing time in his first few years on campus, but some injuries have opened the door for him. He's taken advantage.
Yeah, Coach Danowski mentioned in our conference call this week that Duke is trying to find the balance of playing really fast with the shot clock, but also settling down and not hurrying with the ball. And that's what we saw at first here with Duke coming down with a couple early turnovers. And now as they settle in with their 6-on-6, we're going to see them have to try and test this High Point goalie.
Race to the sideline is won by High Point.
Troutner with a big-time save. High Point with a great hustle play. They're feeling it right now. This Duke team better come back with an answer here if they want to get the air out of the ball here for High Point.
And you can just see the energy on the bench. Every ground ball that they pick up, entire Panthers bench screaming with approval.
Another addition to the 80-second shot clock here is that this team's got 20 seconds to get the ball over the midline, or it's a violation and it goes back to Duke. But here we say they didn't turn the ball over, and Duke comes back down on the offensive end.
Yeah, hence that long pass, kind of low percentage pass there, because they had to get the ball across midfield. Just had about a second to go. First line midfield out there for the Blue Devils once again. Here's Riley Walsh picking the ball back up. Kevin Quigley joins him alongside Jake Sayout. 2 goals, 2 assists in the season opener for him. Probably his best game as a Blue Devil.
Coach Danowski was extremely happy with his performance. Said he played within his game, just made the right plays, and that's what you expect out of a senior like Jake, who's been around this program for a while.
The feed from Lowry. Troutner makes another save. Both goalies have been sharp here in the early going. 7 saves combined. Upgren's got 5 of them.
Yeah, Troutner's a guy Coach Torpy loves. I mean, again, he might be biased, but he did call him one of the best goalies in the country, not just because of his saving ability, but because his demand and control of the defense down low. He said it's like having another coach on the field. as a coach, you can't ask for anything better than that.
Yeah, and he's not only a coach on the field, it's like having a seventh defender. I mean, he's a guy that is so crucial to what they do. Had 22 saves last year against Jacksonville, preseason all-conference.
This is his senior campaign, too. You can bet he wants to have a great year and go out with a bang.
7 minutes to play first quarter. High Point 1, Duke nothing here at Koskinen Stadium. Hung up one more time as Giles Harris. Upgren tries to turn up the pressure just a bit, and that one is whipped in behind the goalie. Ben Baker makes it 2-0 Panthers.
I mean,
6:52 on the clock. We'll get to more of this play on the other side. Scored the first one here this evening. From the opening faces have just been opportunistic. They have really dominated this game. They've dominated possession of the ball despite the shot clock. Shot clock was supposed to create possessions for both teams. High Point has been really first to most of the ground balls. Created second and third opportunities for themselves. Upgren's been really good for the Blue Devils in net, but can't expect your goalie to make double-digit saves in the first quarter and be ahead. Nice job there by Brian Smith to sort of scoop it along to Blake Leischow. Robertson forced to go to the ground and pick it up.
This High Point team is just playing with a lot more energy than Duke right now. And Coach Torpy, hats off to him. Great game plan to come in here. They're not backing down at all. They're bringing their A game. The challenge is now to bring that for the entire game here. So,
second line midfield out there for Duke. Kai Montgomery with the ball. Garrett Ledman, freshman. Montgomery, of course, announced himself in last year's NCAA tournament, just sort of blew up. Sean Lowry at X, drawing the double. Kick back out to Cameron Baddour. Scored his first career goal against Furman after redshirting with an injury a year ago. 20 on the shot clock. Montgomery leans into one. That one didn't even get all the way to Troutner.
I think they might have gotten Chris Price in the head there.
Shot clock did reset, though. And you wonder if that's what the officials are about to discuss here, because that ball never got to Troutner or to the cage. It was probably 16 or 17 seconds left, maybe on the shot clock when Montgomery took the shot.
Yeah, it looks like Rich Tamburino, he does a great job out there. He'll get this thing sorted out and back down here. As we see Montgomery dodging down the alley here, and you can see Kangs it right off Chris Price's head and ends up going back up to the midfield, and Duke's able to keep it on their half of the field. So let's see what they figure out down here with the shot clock.
Yeah, you saw on the top part of your screen, it was about 18 seconds left when Montgomery let that one go on the clock, and that is what happens. So Duke maybe gets an extra second or two, but keen eye by the officials. They're obviously well adjusted to the new rules at this point.
Yeah, here's something that Coach Janowski also referred to in our call this week. Younger group didn't work on zone necessarily before Furman. They worked on a little bit this week, but here we see High Point putting the pressure on with a little zone, causing a turnover here and getting the ball back down to their offense.
Yeah, shot clock down to 0. A lot of times when you get down in those final seconds, you'll see a team roll the ball into the corner, allows them to set their defense. That wasn't what Duke was able to do there. Panthers, though, unable to capitalize in transition. Under 5 to play, all High Point thus far here in the first quarter.
Again, Coach Torpy has his guys ready to rock. I mean, these guys were in the zone. They were in man. Had to play defense, get a couple stops here. Now they're going to take the ball out of the air and use the entire 80-second shot clock and get a great look, at least try to, on the cage.
Kobe Russell has a short stick. Terry Lindsay. I'm going to take him one-on-one. The feed out in front, and that one's just wide of the cage. It was Young one more time looking for his second on one. The full has a short stick. Terry Lindsay. I'm going to take him one-on-one. The feed out in front, and that one's just wide of the cage. It was Young one more time looking for his second of the night. Nolting scoops. One's just wide of the cage. It was Young. I'm going to take him one-on-one. The feed out in front, and that one's just wide of the cage. It was Young one more time looking for his second of the night. Nolting scoops it up. Feeds that one across. Upgren down to the ground with another save. Turner Upgren is keeping the Blue Devils in this game here in the early going. Is that more
Cage.
Kobe Russell. Knowlton early going. Sean Prendergast using his speed. Joey Manown gets the Blue Devils on the board.
Welcome back, Joe.
Manown missing quite a bit of practice time recently with a concussion. Just returned to practice the other day. He's going to play limited minutes here tonight, but he injects a bit of energy into that offensive unit for the Blue Devils. A nice finish for him as Upgren gets things started once again with a save between the pipes.
Big time save by Upgren going down, and then we see Duke.
It was Young one more. I'm going to take him one on the night. The ground.
Upgren going down, and then we see Duke here in transition. You do not want to get into a running. It's a hard shot. Lefty finish up the hash. He's feeling it. He's having a great time. He's just happy to be back.
15 goals a year ago for Manown. Wonder how much he can give Duke here tonight. The win certainly not all the way back. Back to the X.
Also want to make sure I mention how big of a ground ball that was by John Pendergrass down there. Picking up the ground ball, running it all the way down, and getting the assist. Almost as good as a trifecta as if you had to cause turnover in there.
Walker Scaglione comes away with the ground ball. Scored his first career goal against Furman last weekend. Sayao looking to get his hands free. That one just sort of dribbles to Troutner after it went through a couple of defenders. 3.5 to play. First quarter. First goal that High Point has surrendered all season. Took almost 5 quarters.
Great
now
ride
Duke
there
will have
by
it
Duke.
back once again.
Yeah, I think Duke might want to take the air out of the ball a little bit and get some better looks if they want to get it past Troutner here. He is a very good, capable goalie. Right now, High Point's struggling to get the ball back out of their end after stops. This could come back to haunt them here later in the game if they don't clean it up on the clearing.
Sayao draws the flag. Depending on what happens here, Duke's man up will have a chance to go to work for the first time. I think that one might have been off the face of Troutner as Lowry looking for his first goal of the night.
Big time save there by Troutner to keep these guys off the scoreboard there.
Duke 1 for 3 against Furman in the man up. We'll have a chance to add to those numbers here in the early going. 2:50 to go first quarter.
Duke's man up 2 for 3 last weekend against Furman. Coach Janowski mentioned there'd be some personnel changes here, so curious to see. We got big Brad Smith back in up top right at the point of this man up. Let's see how he does fresh off his injury.
Yeah, probably going to be restricted to man up duties here tonight. Smith, foot surgery just a couple of weeks ago. Preseason All-American. Smith, Duke's leading returning scorer, 29 goals, 36 assists a year ago for 65 points. Of course, the loss of Justin Gutterding, 113 assists. Smith, foot, yeah, probably going to be restricted to man up duties here tonight. Smith, foot surgery leading the loss of Justin Gutterding, 113 points that he takes with him. Duke having to replace more than a quarter of its scoring from a season ago just with Gutterding's departure. Robertson goal line extended, and now Riley Walsh. Smith looking for C.J. Carpenter, who has a slip out of his stick.
Wow.
With Caligari on the run. Bedour trying to chase him down. And High Point able to kill off the penalty successfully. Here's Baker, already with a goal, working against Giles Harris. Those two have been matched up the entire evening, and here is a brilliant matchup between Nolting and Van Raphorst, the All-American. 90 seconds to go first quarter. Nolting uses the screen. And Raphorst matching him step for step. Here you see where Nolting can use some of his strength. A nice job defensively, and Giles Harris just sort of clears Chris Young out of the way. Allows a teammate to come up with the ground ball. Blue Devils in transition. Leishau.
Duke really flexed their muscles there in that transition. Here we see him now getting underneath. Big time save by Troutman.
And Manown, quick first step, got past his defender but couldn't put it in the back of the cage. Final minute here in the first quarter. Low scoring first quarter here at Koskinen Stadium, just 2-1. Both goalies have had an opportunity to shine here in quarter number 1. Panthers can hold for the final shot if they choose. 61 and now 60 seconds on the shot clock, just 35 seconds to go in the quarter.
There we saw Van Raphorst get the best of that matchup here, and now we see High Point again taking their short stick behind the cage, try and get a good matchup for one of these D guys to slide.
Schleppy comes in from behind the cage. Sharp angle shot. The way Upgren's playing tonight, it's going to be hard to beat him from that angle. Just 16 seconds to play. Young gets a stick on that pass. Duke may be content. Simply run out the clock here. We'll see what Quigley thinks about that. Whips that one toward the goal. Troutner did not know where it was. Was screened by a number of different guys. Sort of just skipped past him. 0.2 of a second left, and that will be the end of the first quarter. 3 goals in total. But the goalies were plenty of goals for the 2019. The Blue Devils go out, try to
position. Somebody make a stop. We've got to slide to these guys. They're going to get in your head. Just play defense. Just play Duke defense, and let's stay with them. Right off the face-off is really important for them. They want to get the possession here, but obviously didn't work this time. Ryan.
How about that look for Nolting? Thank you, Rebecca.
High Point's got a nice little 1-2 connection there with Nolting and Chris Young. These guys are a fun, dynamic duo to watch. Nolting always knows where he is. And if you're a Fowler, you need to make sure you've always got your head in a swivel there.
Here's Hunter Vines. An absolute burner. Freshman from Tennessee. They're using that speed to get around Welch. Not the biggest guy out there, but maybe the fastest. 30 seconds on the shot clock for the Panthers to work with. Dalton Solver looking to attack the short stick of Terry Lindsay. Baker winds and fires. Upgren is there on that low-to-low shot. Controls the rebound well. Giles Harris on the clear for Duke. Runs into 5 different Panthers and decides, I'm going to go ahead and give this to somebody with a shorter stick.
Yeah, Coach Torpy's probably not thrilled with that last shot on cage for High Point. They've been doing a great job of getting right on the doorstep on their last few offensive possessions. That time, a little ambitious there by the High Point offense. Let's see if they can make some more adjustments here.
Sayao looking to take Russell one-on-one. Draws the slide. The feed is to Manown. Joey Manown has both goals now for the Blue Devils. He has added quite a spark since coming on in the latter stages of the first quarter. Evened up here at Koskinen Stadium.
Coach Janowski loved Jake Sayao's breakout game last week. You can watch him here, just not give up on his dodge. He rolls back a couple times, he draws a slide, runs through a check, and finds an open guy. What a heads-up play there to know that Manown and have the wherewithal to feel that pressure, know that second slide's not there, and find Manown on the backside for an easy goal. If you're High Point, you've got it with their hands free.
By the end of it, had drawn 3 different defenders. It's going to leave somebody open. Here's Smith right off the face-off. Blue Devils looking for more Robertson. That one's right into the cross of Troutner, who makes the save.
That was the first time Duke's gotten the better of St. Peter tonight. He has done a great job at the X, controlling the ball in the possession battle. We talked about earlier the shot clock having a big effect on that. However, he's done a great job of getting High Point the ball.
Panthers get a bit lucky. Not only does that ball just carry him to a player, it ends up with Asher Nolting of all people, but it rolls over the end line. 12:45 to play in the first half, tied at 2.
Great trail check there by Cade. Able to save a potential goal there. Sometimes the worst thing you can do as a defender is get the ball on the ground, and Nolting comes up with that ground ball with a great look at the cage. Thanks to Van Raphorst, he closes the door.
Schneider looking to take Leishout. Now it's Schleppe looking to initiate against the short stick. The bouncer is past Upgren. Kohler the finish, and High Point retakes the lead. Back-to-back goals for the Blue Devils, but the Panthers answer with the junior from Maryland.
High Point has done a great job all night. They've been super patient, taking their time, popping side.
Kohler,
What's he weigh in at? St. Pierre
right off
again.
the face-off, yeah, St. Pierre. Nolting looking across the crease at Young. Upgren leaves his cage for just a second. Duke will have possession.
It's a really tough break for High Point. Got the ball on the ground.
Lindsay nearly shoved out of bounds. Does a nice job there to tiptoe along the sideline and keep possession. Lowry at X now. Manown and Robertson on the attack. Montgomery, Ledman, and Bedour, the midfield line for Duke. Already had 2 goals here in the second quarter. In the first 3+ minutes, only had 3 in the entire first quarter. Maybe both teams starting to settle in just a bit offensively. Montgomery down the alley. Skipped across to
Mentioned earlier, High Duke is again extremely crucial in that decision. And here we see High Point turn it over in the clear. They've been struggling a little bit here tonight, and we see Duke running the field.
Back-to-back turnovers. Bedour. That's Lowry. And now Montgomery. Chasing him down from behind was Joel Skirbo. Walsh steps onto this line now. Robertson relatively quiet to this point. Winds and fires. I don't know if that was Troutner or if it was the pipe. Either way, the
Troutner there.
We've got the Fools trying.
These are Creed A. One else.
7-6 tier 2 have brought the energy here. Isn't going to work against Duke. Well, what the Panthers are doing right now is working. They have brought the energy here to Durham tonight.
Coach Torpy has come in with a great game plan. His guys are always well coached. They're prepared, and they're shining in these big moments right now. You can see they're playing a little zone, playing a little man, controlling the face-off X. They've also watched the film and are exposing things Duke did not do well last weekend. Again, the challenge for these guys is to put it together for a full game. Great job so far. Now the test is towards the end of the game, can they maintain this level of energy?
Yeah, just 5 minutes into the second quarter, so still a long way to go. Series history has not been kind to the Panthers. Blue Devils back up that shot from Riley Walsh. 5-0 wins and losses for the Blue Devils. Average margin of victory just over 10 goals, but get the sense things are going to be a little different here this evening if the Panthers can keep up this level of play. Step down for Walsh, and that one bounces into Troutner, who comes up with his 6th save of the evening.
Big time save by Troutner there. Again, getting late in the shot clock. Duke maybe taking a little desperation shot. Troutner again shuts the door, and here we see Nolting. Oh man, he was fired up. He wanted to go there. I think he got the call. The red light from Coach. Oh, big save by Upgren.
Solver able to just kind of step into that one. Had all the space that he needed. High Point wants the push call. No signal yet from the officials with 9 ball. Had all.
Oh, big was fired up. He wanted to go there. I think he got the call. Here we see Nolting. Oh man, he was fired up. He wanted to go there. I think he got the call. The red light from Coach. Oh, big save by Upgren.
Solver able to just kind of step into that one. Had all the space that he needed. High Point wants the push call. No signal yet from the officials with 9:23 to go in the first half.
Coach Torpy's over there trying to make the call himself. Gains possession.
It's been the second ground balls. Hasn't been a flawless performance thus far for the Panthers. Obviously, they've had some turnovers, some trouble in the clear in their own right. Just 7 of 10 thus far, but they've made up for it with the passion that they've brought here this evening. Now it's Russell looking to take Terry Lindsay.
If I'm Coach Torpy right now, we're walking into halftime here. Hopefully not down too many, maybe up a goal. Just talking about taking our time in the clear, and this would be a different outcome here.
Sixth turnover of the night for the Panthers. Welch the other way. Here's Manown. Don't know if he's been off the field since coming on late in the first quarter. Whatever minutes restriction they thought about putting on him tonight, they may have to blow that out of the water. Brad Smith, who we talked about maybe only being available during man up, that's out the window as well, as he's out there even strength. Ooh. Montgomery zips that one past Troutner. It's backed up by Smith. What is it? Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face?
Mike Tyson,
Mike Tyson quote, right? Duke certainly took a shot from high point here in the early going, and Joey Manown has taken matters into his own hands. All three Blue Devil goals belonging will stand.
Duke actually in the subbing game. Joey Manown just seeing an opportunity, leave his feet and finish to the far. What fired up! That was
one of those sips or what? Did Joey?
And if I'm high point, Manown's a guy I'm not going to leave whether I'm playing zone or not. I'm going to know where he is at all times. Again, high point coming down and retaining possession off the face-off. These guys are feeling it right now. This is a great game, and I hope everyone at home is enjoying this.
Escher Nolting, an assist thus far. Kohler back out there. He got a goal tonight. Zach Diamond. Jake Schleppe, the midfield line for High Point. Under 8 minutes to play here in the second quarter. He split the first 6 goals. High Point 3, Manown 3. Nolting trying to post up Van Raphorst. Rundergrast joins the fray, and now Nolting can go to work on the short stick. Less than 30 on the shot clock. Young. Fowler knocks the stick out of his hand. Lindsay, the quick outlet pass to Scaglione.
Big time play by Fowler, getting the ball on the ground there, making sure there was no second chance for Chris Young. Unbelievable job here.
Two big bodies there, Carter and Scaglione colliding.
It's a lot of meat running into each other right there.
Carter 6'2", 180. Scaglione 6'7", 240.
Big time collision.
Absolutely.
They're getting bigger, I think. My goodness.
I couldn't have played back in the day. I can't even imagine what would happen to me out there, unless I was Joey Manown maybe, and as quick as he is.
Yeah, he can shoot the ball pretty well as well.
So here's Smith, goal line extended. Working against Schleppe.
Wow.
Ball is on the ground.
Schleppe, what an amazing check to get that ball out of Brad Smith's stick. And now we see High Point running down the field here, hoping to generate some offense here in transition.
Troutner making himself available on that clearance. Nolting can't handle the pass. Ball rolls perilously close to the sideline, but not out. Duke will have it. And Raphorst asking for some help. Now it's Fowler far side.
I think there's been a Fowler on the Duke team since 2001, it feels like.
There's enough of them.
Great family. Love how passionate those guys are, and Mom and Dad did a great job with those young men.
3 different positions as well. Brendan Fowler, one of the all-time great face-off guys. Danny Fowler between the pipes. Jack Fowler now a close defender. Smith, step down. That one is off target.
It's this Duke offense right now. Obviously, they're still trying to figure out and find their way and their identity. You add Brad Smith to this mix, and now all these High Point defenders are on immediate alert. You can see them sliding a little bit more. Their heads are swiveling a little bit better because they need to know where he is at all times. And there we saw him get his hands free from 12. I know Brad wants to have that one back as he gets going here, but his presence on the field allows for lead.
In the pre showed up acting
allowed. You're really hard.
There's a good last relatively loaded.
Here we're going to take another look at this goal. Brad Smith, his hand about the legend. His presence on the field alone, whether he's
any doubt he's not scored a games.
Not to
second quarter. Back
here, Duke kind of into Brad Smith.
And Robertson on the attack. It's now Manown, Smith, and Robertson. Prendergast trying to chase down that loose ball. Sampier in the way. And Sampier comes up with the ground ball. Work not done yet, however. Troutner is there once again as the outlet, the safety valve. Skips that one all the way across. No trouble this time for the Panthers on the clear.
Yeah, Sampier is a local product. Leesville High School kid from not too far away from Durham. He has really been the difference in this game thus far, and you can see there scrapping for that loose ball to give it back to High Point. Not only that, High Point with a successful clear, which now allows their offense to set up, something that's going to be a focus for them this second half.
Solver, Vines, and Russell. First line midfield for High Point back out there. That one bounces wide of the cage. No trouble for Nalting on the backup. 39 seconds on the shot clock. Plenty of time for High Point here as they look to come back from a deficit for the first time tonight. Point back up there. That one back. Russell. First line midfield for High Point back out there. That one bounces wide of the cage. No trouble for Nalting on the backup. 39 seconds on the shot clock. Plenty of time for High Point here as they look to come back from a deficit for the first time tonight. Another skip pass. Russell low to high.
There we see Nalting's ability to feed, finding an open guy. You might not think he had that great of an angle, but maybe if that wasn't Sardar, might have had a better chance. But what a great shot!
Nice swim move that time, getting past Prendergast and then finishing inside. Dalton Solver taking matters into his own hands, beating the short stick one-on-one, tying it at 4.
Great individual effort here. Going to talk about the defensive side of this half first. Coach Caputo made it a point to slide and help these guys out. Prendergast did a great job. He forces his man underneath. Duke looks like they're having a little trouble there, getting a little confused on these slides, allowing Solver to get in there underneath, and what a great finish, and what a game back to 4.
This year, diagonal with speed in a way that maybe you couldn't have a year ago, knowing that you were going to kind of plant your foot and get around the crease. Taking full advantage that time was Solver.
Traditionally, defenses are taught to turn the man underneath because there's help, but we might see an adjustment by coaches to say, hey, let's not let him go underneath, force him to the top side to allow some actual help, because again, if he even dove, it increased his angle even better. What a great finish.
Sayao, Quigley, and Walsh out there on the midfield for Duke with less than 3.5 to play in the first half. What a half it's been for High Point, matching the Blue Devils goal for goal. Home opener for last year's national title runner-up.
Yeah, Coach Zanowski this week again was talking about Quigley and Walsh, and he wanted to see them develop more and get their teammates involved and not trying to hold the ball as much. And here we see again the ball going back down to the attack group, and Brad Smith and Joey Manown. Oh, what a save!
How about that save by Troutner? That was labeled top corner. Riley Walsh thought he had Duke's 5th goal. Troutner had other ideas.
Oh, baby.
And the goaltender off and running. Going to feed that one across. How about that breakout for High Point? It was Troutner looking to feed Caligari.
Big time timeout by Coach Torpy to save his goalie there just in case of a turnover. Denying this Troutner kid is for real. Far pipe, closes the door. You know what? He doesn't like what he sees in the clear. He's just going to take it down the field himself. There it is. See him pick it up. Doesn't know he has it. wheels, now he's out. This Duke team scrambling around, trying to get in transition. They're super unorganized. Again, I would have loved to have seen him attack the cage there and get a goal. Maybe Blaze Reardon, Brett Queener, Adam Gittleman, some of the greats there that love to get up and out. That's awesome. You love seeing the goalies getting involved here, especially with the game on the line like this. Awesome job by this guy.
Preseason all-conference. He was all-tournament team, all-conference tournament team last year.
The hype is real. Coach Torpy said it. The hype is real. This kid's incredible. I love his game.
These goalies have combined for 15 saves here in just the first half. Not even. Still 2.5 to play.
To your point, Ryan, not only are they making these big-time saves, these saves are on the doorstep. We're not talking about 14, 15-yard shots. Now, some of them are, but these guys are standing on their head. They're doing it with their head. They're doing it with their feet. They're throwing their body at the ball, and you can just tell these guys are phenomenal, having a great
game win
Is not a strong
4 points.
team after getting that win at Furman. Ryan?
Great stuff, Bex. We talked earlier, 113 points, 27% of the scoring. Basically, 1 out of every 4 points a season ago was Justin Gutterding. He's not walking through that door.
Again, before we get into the High Points offense, Coach Danowski mentioned, when I asked him about the identity of this team, he was unsure. He said, there is no Gutterding. There are no guys that are just going to show up, and we're still trying to find our roles and how we kind of fit into the scheme of things. And you can kind of tell right now Coach Danowski challenging these guys to step up and make a play because this High Point team is putting it on them right now.
Flag down, less than 2 to play in the first half. 24, now 23 on the shot clock. As Nolting is in behind the cage trying to work against Van Raphorst. Nice job by Van Raphorst. Take away the angle. Nolting, though, still working hard.
Oh, my goodness.
Did not give up. High Point, 5-4.
This is a matchup we highlighted earlier, Ryan. Van Raphorst got the ball down on the ground, was able to turn it over. And now we see Nolting getting the best of this one. What an unbelievable individual effort, taking a check in the head, on the arm, his helmet's flying up. It does not matter. This guy's center of gravity, ability to turn the corner. All my young bucks watching at home, watch how he turns the corner, is able to finish in front of the cage. All right, this guy, man, he is doing it all tonight. So, Magic Johnson reincarnated.
No doubt. And you can see Terry Lindsay trying that trail check there, but Nolting kept the stick, shielded away from him, used the body, fought off 2 guys.
He's a big dude, man. You better bring the body. Don't swing your sticks at this guy.
6'2", 210.
Reminds me a little bit of John Grant Jr., but a righty.
So now $1:33 for the Blue Devils to look for the tying goal. 5-4 game here at Koskinen Stadium.
Costly turnover for High Point.
5 different goal scorers for the Panthers.
If High Point's able to retain that ball and come down, they would get the last shot of the half here. Instead, there's a turnover. You give Duke the ball back. They're able to maybe retain some of that momentum going into halftime.
Montgomery on the run. Ambitious. Carpenter trying to chase down the rebound in front of Troutner. Bodies everywhere. See what the call is with 59.8 seconds to play. I think it's going to be Duke ball.
Tamburino figures it out. Always the guy to figure it out. He does a great job down there.
Shot clock resets. And so now the Blue Devils an opportunity to hold for the final shot, should they choose.
I know focus for this Duke offense at halftime is probably going to be to let the ball do the work a little bit and allow their offense to work instead of just one guy.
Wanted to coach.
Coach, get more and more a little bit.
So mentioning Irish line, it's SoCon, Voto.
Top to here. However, Coach Torpy's done a great job to playing.
Especially with as much February lacrosse that is played these days.
With the exception of tonight, because this is amazing. It's beautiful out.
Yeah, about 70 degrees today here in Durham. 30 seconds left. Manown.
Unbelievable High Point. Switching from zone to man. Mid-possession here to confuse this Duke offense here. Let's see if Sayal can make a play.
Sayal looking to attack the short stick of Clothier. That ball skips through the stick of Brad Smith. Smith, a frustrating generate something quickly here.
Watch out for Chris Young. Find him.
Bounces past Van Raphorst and Nolting, but the Panthers will take a 5-4 lead into intermission here at Koskinen Stadium. Couldn't ask for a better start. If you're John Torpy, look for a second, as though the Blue Devils, once they made that comeback, took the lead. You were wondering, was High Point going to be able to find the answer? Well, they certainly did. 5 different goal scorers in the first half for Coach Torpy, who joins
Durham North.
Hitting their transition, what they've done. I really like it.
Good luck. Thank you. Now already side scene.
100 miles.
4 devices at once.
He has been asked to do quite a bit here tonight. You wonder how much more they're going to Sayao, who has an assist on the evening. Sayao.
On the good column here for this High Point team, these guys are doing a lot on the good column here. And as we see Duke win their one of their few faceoffs they've won here clean off the draw.
Ryan Smith and Davis Sampier have taken all of the draws for their teams here this evening.
The local Duke crowd trying to get the boys going here.
Sayao, who has an assist on the evening. Robertson gets the pick from Walsh. And Duke.
I think we had an illegal screen there, which again awards the ball back to High Point. I saw Troutner trying to draw a flag there by running into his man. These guys are really feeling it right now, and they have matched their energy that they started this game with. Duke is going to need an answer.
If you're Duke, where does the spark come from? I think that's the biggest thing. Who can make that energy play? Everybody maybe looking at each other to make a play without 14 in the lineup. Who's going to be the person to step up in really the first bit of adversity they've faced this season? It's a young season, of course. Upgren out to pressure Baker. Prendergast, the short stick matching up with Baker now, who tries to go high on Upgren. Backed up nicely, though, by Vines.
Yeah, Coach Torpy and this High Point team are doing a really good job of getting the Duke defenders stuck above the cage when they're dodging from that low wing, which is creating matchup nightmares here behind the goal, which is also a key area where Coach Caputo was trying to focus on this week during practice, as we see Duke really starting to shut the door here on the defensive end.
Lindsay, the short stick, working against Baker, draws the slide from Welch, fires that one high. 4 on the shot clock. Short stick.
As we see Duke really starting to shut the door here on the defensive end.
Lindsay, the short stick, working against Baker, draws the slide from Welch, fires that one high. 4 quickly, or perhaps they just roll it in the corner. And that is what they will do, allow them to get their defense set. Duke forces the shot clock violation.
That's a big-time stop for this Duke defense. It allows them to just catch their breath. They can set up their clear, try and get the ball back down the offensive end, maybe starting to get a little bit of a rhythm here on their offensive half in the 6-on-6 set.
Montgomery, Bador, and soon to be Ledman, the midfield line for Duke.
Obviously, halftime adjustments here if you're Duke. How do we beat the zone? How are we going to break down the zone? When they switch to man, can we recognize it fast enough to set up our man-to-man offense as well? These guys are going to be forced to grow up really fast here on the Duke offensive end.
Lowry back out there on attack for the Blue Devils. Montgomery, sharp angle shot from distance. Manown backs that one up. 36 on the shot clock.
Yeah, we had mentioned in the first half here, you really want to see Duke get into their offense and have these guys create, draw, slide, and then distribute the ball. Right now looks to be a lot of one-on-one battles trying to score some goals here. And, again, hats off to this High Point team.
Ledman, a nice feed inside.
Holy.
And Troutner, yeah. Robertson, it looked like, was stoned by Troutner there after the nice feed from Ledman, the freshman.
I'm speechless right now. Like, those goals, they're supposed to score them when they're that close. I don't care who you are. These guys are doing a great job in the net tonight.
One of these teams is going to get a win tonight. The other one is going to be wondering how things could have been different. The defensive effort has been there. Goalie play has been there. one of these offenses is going to come up with a moment that's going to mean the difference between winning and losing. Back-to-back turnovers now.
I was just about to mention how important it is for High Point to take care of the ball because they don't want to let Duke get in a rhythm. I'm almost saying it the other way here. It's, again, Duke needs to take care of this ball and get the ball out of this offensive stick. Nolting, Young, these guys are starting to feel it, and again, they're having some success and getting some really good looks in front of the cage. Duke needs to retain possession here and take the air of the ball a little bit.
Well, you know this from being at Maryland. Sometimes you play these out-of-conference games against teams that on paper, right, you're supposed to beat, as that one's back into the cross of Upgren. The longer these games stay close, the more a team like High Point believes. Now, to be quite honest, I think High Point from Jump Street has believed they can come in and get a win tonight. I don't think they're intimidated at all. But the longer this stays 5-4, the better they're going to feel about their opportunity to spring a massive upset here in Koskinen.
And I'm going to say this. I'm going to go out on a limb here and just say that there's only 70-something college or Division I teams in the nation. The talent level at the youth levels is growing so rapidly that all of the teams in the NCAA right now are very competitive teams. There are no easy games anymore. And Coach Torpy has done a fantastic job getting his team prepared from day one. They're picking the ball up off the ground on defense. They're starting to take care of it in the clear. Again, this Duke team is going to be in for a long night if they don't start to clean it up a little bit.
Sayo caught in on defense. The shot by the pole. It'll go the other way instead.
Not really sure. Maybe offsides or a late sub. Not sure what happened there, but
looked like they had 6. I don't know if it was offsides. Either way, Blue Devils have it now. It's been disjointed for both sides. There's been a number of turnovers here in the second half already.
It's still, you keep going back to this, but it's still so early. These guys are still trying to figure it out. This is the second game of the season, even though the weather makes it feel like we're in the middle of springtime. Again, these teams, Coach Torpy mentioned it earlier at halftime that he just likes this squad, and I got to be honest, I like them too.
No question.
They're fun to watch, and they bring the energy, that's for sure.
Montgomery trying to get through 4 different defenders. He draws the flag. Troutner was out to try to grab up the effort there to make something happen.
That's a nice shake there to knocks him over Minnesota.
I wonder if they just maybe before that.
It's like it was. There's a lot of moving pieces down there, Mount. It's non-releasable as well on this penalty. Let's not forget though, Troutner, one-on-one on the doorstep, shutting the door once again. How many saves does he have?
10.
He's at 10 already.
With 9+ to go in the third quarter.
Well, if I had a vote, I'd keep the shot clock in for the foreseeable future here in college lacrosse. This is awesome.
Yeah, there's been really good pace to this one. Hasn't been fundamentally maybe a clinic, but a ton of tempo for both sides. Blue Devil man up for a minute. Walsh, Smith inside to Manown, looking for his 4th goal of the game. Instead, it's Troutner's 11th save. 4th. Walsh, Smith inside to Manown.
The lefty, love it.
It must look like there's about 4 of him between the pipes tonight.
He's active in the clear. He's playing defense. He's talking to the D guys. I've got to say, as a defender, when you know you have a goalie that's behind you that's communicating, and not only is he communicating, but he's making saves and able to bail you out, it allows you to play with a certain level of comfort knowing that he's got your back. It is really man-up situation with the goalie in there on the clears, and he's doing a great job of controlling this defense and keeping this game in High Point's control.
Vines walks off the rest of the penalty and then attacks Scaglione one-on-one. Upgren is there. Giles Harris scoops up the ground ball.
Another Minnesota product. Upgren is shutting the door on the Duke end now.
Giles Harris harassed near midfield. Ends up in the stick of Dalton Sulver.
What a great ride.
Just
this
nothing has been
relentless.
Easy. It's amazing. Nothing has been easy for either side. That one skips by the net. 7. Nothing is
what a great
side.
And you want to go back to the old coaching method of saying, hey, these guys just need to move the ball around, get a good look, get the best shot, not the first shot. However, with the shot clock, it's forcing this Duke team to come down and press, and you can tell that they're starting to tighten the sticks up here a little bit, whether it's in the clearing game on offense. I think they just need to settle down. Like you said earlier, somebody just needs to make a play.
I think the only multiple goal margin we've had in this game was 2-0 High Point. In a one-goal game from that point forward. Upgren looking for some help getting it from Van Raphorst.
Yeah, we're talking about Troutner on this end, Upgren on this end. These guys are getting involved, picking up ground balls. Again, as a lacrosse fan, this is awesome to watch, and you love seeing the goalies getting so active.
Falk is just annihilated near the far sideline, and that'll be a turnover, as if the High Point bench wasn't already screaming. Look at this hit. Bang.
Coach Danowski is over here trying to get the bench fired up. These guys look like they've just seen a ghost. It's absolutely dead silent for here on Duke. They're going to need somebody to step up here. And we saw Upgren on the last possession come out, steal the ground ball, and get the ball out of his end. Duke comes down, turns it over here. Need another stop. Ball's now back on defense. These guys must be exhausted.
It's over and back, though, for High Point. Another turnover, chance at a quick restart, perhaps for the Blue Devils. It's Jack Falk, who was the recipient of that hit from Nate Carter a moment ago. Nate Carter, and now Peter Welch.
Goodness.
That one is saved by Troutner. And Welch escorts it out of bounds.
Troutner, number 13? Or is that 12?
Dozen.
Goodness.
Give it a second, though.
Yeah,
It'll probably be 13
goodness.
shortly. Yeah, that was Carter delivering the hit. They gave him a pole this year because they said, look, that's the best way to give him some more playing time. He's the guy we want to get out on the field. You can see why. Say out. Looking to beat a couple of defenders. Troutner, there's your 13th
Out
save.
of here.
That one really just kind of into the body. Didn't have to do a ton with it, but stood his ground despite Sayout bearing down on him from about 5 yards away.
It's rare to see a glove save in field lacrosse, but that's exactly what that was. He's able to get his hands up and save it with his bottom hand glove side. Unbelievable.
Less than 5.5 to play, third quarter. We still have not had a goal since halftime.
Again, people who were not happy with the Super Bowl and didn't like the outcome and didn't like the game, this game is not for you. But if you're a lacrosse fan and you're a coach, this is awesome. We're seeing end-to-end action here, some great coaching, some great goalie play, face-offs. Again, a few limited penalties. These guys are playing hard, and this is fun to watch.
Schleppe up top as that one skips away from the stick of Kohler. Well, it's a nice job by Robertson there to lift up the stick of Walsh, not allowing to keep it on the offensive side of midfield.
Great heads-up play there by the sophomore.
Montgomery into the box. Winds and fires. That one skips past Troutner.
There's no denying Montgomery's trying to put this game into his hands and try and make a play and get a spark for this offense, and he's done a great job so far. We're looking here to have the other 5 guys on the field provide some more energy.
Ledman, that one into the feet of Troutner. He even didn't realize where it was for just a second. Was it off the foot of Ledman? It was. Got 11 turnovers here in the second half already. Had 16 in the first half.
Awesome play by Nick Walsh to allow the Duke defender to run past him and go out of bounds and be the closest guy to the ball. Great heads-up play. Ooh.
Welch picks the pocket. Carpenter
love seeing that lift
takes the
there.
check. Kroll applying the hit.
Those are the kind of plays in between the lines that are going to give this Duke team life. Last possession down, Walsh takes a shot.
Here's Walsh again working against the short stick, draws the slide. Now it's Carpenter in behind the cage. One of the few times they've had High Point hung up. And C.J. Carpenter ties this one at 5. 4 goals on the season for C.J. Carpenter, his first career hat trick against Furman. He's not necessarily the most vocal guy in the world, but there you can see him screaming, trying to psych up his team. For now, he's tied it up. 5-5. Peter Welch for years, and Carpenter ends up finishing the play.
There we see, that's the second time Peter Welch getting a great shot that this Duke team needs, which allows it all start, which is going to. And this might be a short stick deep, crucial in their difference right.
The two guys at the face-off X all evening long. This one is won by Sampier. Early offense for the Panthers. And the finish from Baker. So the Blue Devils claw, scratch, finally tie it at 5, and then just that quickly. High Point.
Torby is feeling really good right now because this is make it, take it lacrosse. St. Pierre out the front, picks up a really tough ground ball, hits the point man. High Point attackman buries that right next to the cage.
There's Baker.
Hits the point man. St. Pierre out the front, picks up a really tough ground ball, hits the point man. High Point attackman buries that right next to the cage.
There's
Ben
Baker again,
there was no denying that shot.
Well, and it's unselfish from Nalting. He could have probably taken that shot from maybe 12 yards. Was able to step into it instead, finds Baker, goal line extended, and just the easy finish.
A lot of respect there. Again, some plays you don't really see. Chris Young on the back pipe was able to hold his defender because he's so lethal at finishing. Again, that allowed Ben Baker to create that opportunity there on the front pipe.
Trying to return the favor now. Smith draws the flag after winning the faceoff. So both guys, Smith and St. Pierre, getting the best of each other and creating opportunities for their team. High Point, it was a goal. Blue Devils, it's a man-up opportunity.
End-to-end action here.
Yeah, no doubt. Took almost 12 minutes to get our first goal of the third quarter, and the next one came about 10 seconds later, if that.
So here we see the new look man-up unit for Duke, still trying to find their rhythm. Again, we've got now Brad Smith maybe not back in the play. Maybe they're going with their man-up group from last weekend at Furman where they had some success and they were 2 for 3. So again, another halftime adjustment by this Duke staff trying to mix it up.
Quigley, Carpenter, Lowry, Robertson, Baddour, and Walsh are the 6 out there for Duke. Minute man-up opportunity for the Blue Devils to work with. Nice job by Robertson, the hitch to improve his angle, but then fires it wide. Nobody there to back it up for the Blue Devils.
Troutner, this kid is unbelievable. What a heads-up play by him. Not only coming out to make the save, but being able to back the ball up and get the ball back. And here we see Nalting, big body at the midfield line, just running through this Duke defense.
20 seconds left on the penalty. Blue Devils trying to double team. Nalting forced the turnover. Turning on the speed. We talked about the speed of Vines. Oh, the save by Upgren. Speed of Vines. Turning the speed of Turning on the speed. We talked about the speed of Vines. Oh, the save by Upgren. Vines single-handedly beat the double team by just turning it into 5th gear, and then Upgren stoning the attackman on the doorstep to keep this a 1-goal game.
Talk about a turning point right now. That is it. High Point, man down, attacking the cage, one-on-one with the goalie, and Upgren just absolutely shuts the door and allows this Duke offense to come back down and operate. What an amazing save at such a crucial point in this game. We're going to remember that one later on for after this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was Chris Young that had the chance. He talked about what a great finisher he is, makes that save even more special. How about the speed of Vines?
He's got some wheels. Coach Torby loved his athleticism and his speed, and he's a guy they're going to be utilizing towards the end of the season if he can stay healthy.
Sayao initiating. Top of the box. Down the alley. Fires it with the left hand. And we're tied at 6.
My goodness.
So this all starts. Sure, you can talk about Jake Sayao scoring this goal, but it doesn't happen without this brilliant save by Upgren. The feed from Vines. It's Young one-on-one with the goalie. Tries to go 5-hole. Upgren shuts the door, and then Sayao takes care of business on the other end.
This shot on the run, lefty. He's going to put this on the short side. Again, Troutner has had a fantastic evening saving the ball. I don't really care who you are. That's a fantastic shot, especially if you're a lefty. What a great shot. Great shot placement by the graduate senior there. Jake just kind of Again, we're waiting for these plays, and now we're seeing Turner Upgren in the cage with the save. Sayao coming down the alley, lefty with a big-time shot. This is great lacrosse, folks.
Big-time scramble for this ground ball. Scaglione's got a stick on it. Leishao runs through the contact from Young. Jake Sayao on the season, 6 points. That's already one more than he had in 13 games a year ago. Had his first multi-goal game against Furman. Duke hoping to get consistently the type of performance he put forth against the Paladins. A goal and an assist here tonight. A minute to play in the third quarter. We're tied at 6.
High Point going back to the zone look here. Give this Duke team a different look on the defensive end. They've been switching from zone to man, back to zone, back to man. They've done a really good job of confusing this Duke offense here. And hats off here to Coach Justin Tuma again, doing a great job.
Montgomery gets his hands free, but that shot from that far away on this kind of night is just probably not going to be Troutner. It's going to have to be something really special. 15 saves now for Tim Troutner. Final 15 seconds of the third quarter.
10 seconds.
Nolting, yep, looking to lean in against Van Raphorst. Goes with the overhead. Less than 5 seconds to play. Baker's got 2 goals on the night. Giles Harris trying to force him in behind the cage, and he does. A dozen goals on the night. 6 for Duke, 6 for High Point. Goalies have been spectacular. 25 combined saves. Sayao, the finishing touch toward the end of the third quarter, and the Blue Devils tied at 6.
Your Wi-Fi to stay. And lets you control your network with the Xfi app. It's the ultimate Wi-Fi experience. Xfinity Xfi. Simple, easy, awesome.
For those days when the weather ignores your plans, you can be protected from higher fares. Introducing a rewards program made to keep modern life moving.
Six game here at Koskinen Stadium. High Point looking for the upset over the nation's number 2. Nakai Montgomery, a goal on 8 shots. Joe, I know you spent a lot of time looking at the defensive end. That was the position you played. You love the way that High Point is forcing Duke into low percentage shots. You combine that with what Troutner's doing between the pipes, and tough sledding for the Duke offense.
What a great recipe if you're a defensive coach. And again, hats off to Coach Tuma. He's got his guys organized, they're communicating, and what an advantage when you have another coach in the field in Troutner absolutely shutting the door. These guys are going to have to work a little bit harder to score, and this is awesome. 6-6, third quarter, 15 minutes left. This is going to be about heart and effort here.
Face-off violation, so the Blue Devils will have the first possession of the fourth quarter. What a moment for both of these programs so early on in the season. For Duke, can you find a way to fight through the adversity, win your home opener? If you're High Point, what a way to really start your 2019 season. Obviously the game against St. Bonaventure, but that team not nearly the caliber of the Blue Devils. Across the crease, Manown was there. Step down for Walsh, beats Troutner. 7-6. Not nearly the caliber of the Blue Devils. Across the crease, Manown was there. Step down for Walsh, beats Troutner. 7-6.
Robertson with the short stick, and here we see him expose this short stick. We draw a slide, we feed, and what a heads-up play by Joey Manown, not to take the lead. Watching.
Score from there. I love what you said there about Manown, too. A lot of guys, right? You're supposed to score from there. You're an attackman. You're 2 feet away from the goal. Smith wins another face-off. Maybe he's starting to find the rhythm. And instead, Manown, patient. Blue Devils, though, turn it over.
You had everything going. You talked about the momentum, and you're getting into a nice rhythm, and you make a stupid error like that. That was not a smart play there. By Smythe, and Coach Dino is letting him know about it. That was not. You talked about
Blue Devils, though, turn it over.
You had everything going. You talked about the momentum, and you're getting into a nice rhythm, and you make a stupid error like that. That was not a smart play there. By Smythe, and Coach Dino is letting him know about it. Yeah, here we see the retaliation, and it's never the first time. It's always the second time. Kids at home, don't retaliate. Walk away. Take the high road. You're going to get your team in trouble, and not only do that, but yourself.
Yeah, a couple of words for him after he returned to the bench. Back on the other end. How about that spin move?
My goodness.
Russell sheds Lindsay and ties it at 7.
And here he comes top organized and not hacked on keeping your bounce shots in. Seen going these goalies. If it doesn't work, try something else. And these shooters are really starting to open it up here.
Smith, another face-off win. Carpenter. Watched by Walsh. Walsh is a guy got a lot of versatility to his game. Can be an LSM, can play close defense. Quigley, he's got a cannon, rips that one toward Troutner. Good rebound control for the goalie there. And the quick outlet pass, off and running is Clothier. Transition opportunity. Young to Nolting the finish.
Heartbreaker.
To is Clothier. Transition opportunity. Quick outlet pass, off and running is Clothier. Transition opportunity. Young to
Goodness.
Transition opportunity. Young to Nolting. Transition opportunity. Young to Transition opportunity. Young to Nolting the finish.
Heartbreaker. My goodness.
And just that quickly, High Point has the lead once again.
Trying to see the ball on the other end. They're running and gunning, wheeling and dealing, and these guys are fired up. Rolling.
Preseason All-American. Set the single-season points record last year in the SoCon with 66. Showing all facets of his game here tonight. 2 goals, 2 assists. Solver touches it up.
Man, this has been end-to-end. Every time you think one team has an advantage, the other team just comes back and shuts the door. Whether it's High Point going behind, you see these guys, Duke running some good offense. We're seeing Troutner shut the door, and here we go. We're seeing High Point go back to the same look that they just had success with the last possession. Big Little behind the cage, hoping to draw a slide and find an open guy.
Russell and Lindsay once again. This time it's Young with the
draw a slide and find an open guy.
Russell and
Possession. Big Little behind the cage, hoping to draw a slide and find an open guy.
Russell and Lindsay once again.
Behind the cage, hoping to draw a slide and find an open guy.
Russell and Lindsay once again. This time it's Young with the finish. And for the first time in a long time, we have a 2-goal lead for one of these teams. It's the Panthers 9, Duke 7.
This is the same look they scored last time. We saw Russell go underneath the far side. This time he comes topside lefty, and we talk about this guy earlier in the game. Chris Young is lethal. You do not want to give him an inch. Similar to another guy who played here a long time ago, Zach Greer. This lefty has had the ball in his stick for maybe 8 seconds this whole game, but he's efficient. He gets the ball out of his stick. He's fired up, and he knows where that credit's due. What a great job by Kobe Russell there, trying to getting his teammate open. First time he scores, now he's dishing it out. Now High Point's got the ball back on offense. Duke needs an answer right now.
Nice ground ball there from Accra. They've only had the ball in his stick for 8 seconds. Got 2 goals and an assist. Chris Young, the Canadian, making an impact here tonight. 12 minutes to go. 2-goal lead for the Panthers, and they possess. Feed Young again.
Goodness.
Back-to-back goal. Lead for the Panthers, and they possess. Feed Young again.
Goodness.
Back-to-back goals. 10-7 High Point here in Durham.
My goodness. First it's Russell. Now it's Dalton Silver behind the cage, exposing these short stick matchups. You can see Duke unorganized, and there's one guy in the field you kind of have to know where he is, and they keep losing him here.
A hat trick for Young, back-to-back goals as the Panthers have a 3-goal lead over the number 2 team in the country.
Great. So your kid will be just fine.
We have 2.
But I'm only one babysitter.
Networks like America.
You're too.
For High Point, here is Chris Year this evening.
We're goalie that is a brick wall right now. Troutner is saving the ball. He's getting it up and out, and High Point has found a really good offense to run that is producing some fantastic looks for their best finisher, Chris Young, inside, and they're not really beating their man. This is an unbelievable game plan. I hate to say this again, but they're taking the air out of the ball a little bit, pulling the short stick behind, finding this matchup. Now, again, if I'm Duke, I'm probably going to lock Chris Young off here with the same exact look, and there we see him again flash to the ball. This Duke team desperately needs a stop to bring some life back down to their offense.
This is where the shot clock could come into play just a bit, because maybe in years past, High Point would try to sit on the ball a little bit, take a couple minutes off the clock. Not an option, obviously, anymore. 40 seconds to go on the shot clock here. Here is Russell. He has initiated a number of these scoring opportunities here in the last couple of minutes. Now it's Nolting staring Van Raphorst in the face. Nolting around the cage. How about that feed?
My goodness.
Russell cutting and scoring. 11 to. How about that? Nolting around the cage. How about that feed?
My goodness.
Russell cutting and scoring. 11 to 7.
This High Point team is absolutely feeling it right now. It's not just one guy. It's not just Nolting. It's not just Young. These guys are sharing the ball. They're getting fantastic looks. And here we see this matchup we've been talking about all night. Van Raphorst, Nolting. This guy, you cannot let him clear his hands. And this High Point team is just slicing this Duke defense up off ball.
Great look there, too, from our production crew. You can see all of the eyes looking at Nolting. And that allows Kobe Russell to cut, finish off the play. For the first time, Jordan Ginder in to take the face-off for Duke, but the result is the same. Another possession for High Point as they lead by 4 goals. Nolting asking his team to calm down here. For High Point now, it's about just keeping your poise.
You took the word right out of my mouth, Brian. This team, sophomore in attack, one senior, they're fairly young, and I can't believe the poise that they are playing with right now. They have this game in control. They're finding the right looks, not the first looks. And here we see Nolting again, just asserting his presence on this field.
That time he hits the pipe. Ball rolls toward midfield and over. Robertson has it for the Blue Devils. Duke has that one. Robertson has it checked away from behind by Walsh. I don't know if it just fell out of his stick or if Walsh was able, with the trail check, to jar it loose.
That's what's known as a wrap check. Nick Walsh, the lengthy defender from Minnesota, is able to throw his his bottom hand off the stick and wrap it around Duke Dackman. That is a freaking unbelievable check in between the lines. I love this. All these great defensive plays and goalie play is unbelievable. And now we see High Point again operating behind the cage with 45 seconds left in the shot clock.
Schleppy's back there. He's got Jack Falk with him. Every stop for High Point means almost a minute and a half off the clock. Down toward 30 seconds on the shot clock.
Chris Young inside, cover up inside. My goodness.
Baker, spin move. Fowler is there, matching him step for step. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Baker able to get free, turns the corner. It's 12 to 7. 6-1 Panthers here in the fourth quarter. Coach Danowski said, look, this is a team that has nothing to lose. It's the most dangerous kind of team. High Point showing exactly why they are going to be somebody to contend with, not only in the SoCon, but on the national scene this year.
This is, again, we're going to talk about both sides of the ball here. Defensively, it looks like Duke, they're not communicating at all. There was a pick. There was no help adjacent there. And what a heads-up play by Ben Baker, knowing there's no slide and attacking the middle of the field and getting right in front of the cage. And here we see High Point again with a major face-off win, which allows High Point's offense, who is on fire right now, to get the ball back in their offensive.
Yeah, you used the term make it, take it before. That's exactly what it's been for the Panthers here in the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Duke's going to have to figure out an answer here for Russell and these short sticks going behind the cage in short time here if they want a chance here to claw back into this game.
Well, St. Pierre's been so good on the draw, particularly here in the fourth quarter, that even if Duke is able to score, it's going to be hard to string back-to-back-to-back goals together without coming up with defensive stops.
And I've said this before, Coach Torpy has done such a great job with this High Point team. Regardless of the outcome, these players have managed this game so well. They understand the shot clock, they understand the game plan, and they are executing it perfectly right now.
Here's Vines. Less than 20 on the shot clock. Solver. Nice check there by Lindsay. Upgren way out of his cage. Firing that one on net and off the pipe. Solver catches the post. Upgren that one on net and off the pipe. Solver catches.
That might go down as a save for him if we get a replay of that later. That was unbelievable.
So now 7:40 to play. Duke with its first possession in seemingly quite a while. Can the Blue Devils start to chip away at this deficit? Not an impossible deficit to overcome, especially in the sport of lacrosse. But they need to get to work, and soon. Walsh. The redodge. Now Lowry up top. And then Seau. Takes Seau in behind the goal. Sharp angle shot. And Duke crawls one closer. Jake Seau's second goal of the night. And now it's up to Brian Smith. Try to gain possession back for the Blue Devils. One of the few times Troutner's been beaten on a bad angle.
High Point there was playing a little 5-on-5. They were shutting off one of the Duke attackmen. And we talked about this. Oh, might have been a pipe. Might have been a stick. I'm going to give Giles Harris a save anyway as a Duke guy.
Typical defenseman. Yeah, there you go.
Now, again, the Duke on this side of the offensive field, Seau again coming in to make a big-time play. It's the right play. The slide was late. He's able to turn the corner and finish. They need to get Jake Seau the ball right now and let him eat.
Important face-off here. Can St. Pierre win another one for his team? Smith back out there for Duke.
My goodness.
It's St. Pierre who has done all of the heavy lifting for High Point here this evening. He's taken all 25 draws. Aggressive double team on Nolting. Here's Kohler. Snyder now. And Asher Nolting. Now, a 4-goal game with just less than 7 to play.
Sorry to interrupt you, Ryan. It is one of those situations right now. If you're Duke, you have to go out and pressure the ball and get a double team and get this ball on the ground. High Point could essentially play make it take it for the remainder of the game with the 80-second shot clocks. This Duke team needs to start to press and get this ball back. As you see High Point looking at the shot clock, they're waiting. They are taking their time. They are draining this clock down.
Snyder squared up with Leishau. 30 seconds on the shot clock. Upgren out of his cage. Nolting hits the side of the net, and then Upgren dives in front of Young. Out of his cage. 30 seconds on the shot clock. Upgren out of his cage. Nolting. 30 seconds on the Snyder. Squared up with Leishau. 30 seconds on the Snyder. Squared up with Leishau. 30 seconds on the shot clock. Dives in front of Young.
That's all they needed, Duke. Great play by Upgren coming out of the cage and making a play on a defensive end. Awesome heads-up play there by the senior.
Leishau. Chaperones the ball downfield. 5:50 to play. This is truly a take it one possession at a time situation for the Blue Devils. Say out, who's been arguably Duke's best player here this evening offensively. Carpenter looking for Walsh. Now it's Say out. Ball is on the ground.
Big time ground ball. Big time ground ball.
Running through it, Riley Walsh. The feed is to Manown. He's got a hat trick. All of those goals coming early in this one. Now Carpenter, who has one as well. Sayao runs into Capetto. Flag down. Man up opportunity potentially for Duke. Carpenter lets it rip. 5:05 to play. Duke man up unit set to go to work. 0 for 2 on the night with the extra man. Luke Capetto taking the penalty.
Unfortunate penalty there. These guys, they're so big, they're so athletic. I'm not sure he meant to get that check up by the head of the offensive player there, but Duke's man up has struggled here this evening, and if I'm Coach Torpy, I'm feeling pretty good about my man down unit versus the Duke man up at this point in the game.
It's a must. You would think a minute penalty. Duke has to convert, down 4 with less than 5 to play. Skip pass, Walsh. Down low, Baddour. Saved by Troutner.
Goodness.
And now High Point a chance to kill off this penalty if they're able to navigate the clear. Knowlton comes back for it. Giles Harris puts on the pressure. Strips the stick away. How about that work for Giles Harris? Now Duke basically with a 30-second man-up opportunity once again. They'll have to resettle personnel-wise. Giles Harris didn't even allow Knowlton to get past midfield. Just one-on-one. Another flag down. Looks like Walsh is going to be sitting for at least 30 seconds. Manown bounces that one past Troutner. My, oh my.
What do you
Back
know?
to it.
At work. Bodied him up. Hand.
He's an all-alone. Nick
Fear.
Duke has our side. High Point. How about that? Off this penalty.
Oh my goodness.
How about that?
Sam Pierre putting an exclamation point on his night that he's had between the face-off, the goalie play, the entire offensive. High Point Van
Rapport steps into that passing lane.
Another big play by the Duke defense.
Do the Blue Devils give it right back? Whistle.
Loose ball push. Duke, yeah. Unfortunate.
Critical whistle there, and then a flag is thrown about 50 yards downfield by the official. 3:46 to play.
It's a halo rule. I forget the correct
to go. There is Walsh, maybe a step or two too close to Knowlton. 30 seconds to the on the penalty to Walsh. 35 seconds. Duke had did that pass all of this as
again,
it
20 allowed up now, so it's lead game 46.
What the will have a coming out of the box. Giles Harris. What happens here? 3:46 to play. High Point leading by 3 over the second-ranked team in the country, the Duke Blue Devils here in Durham. Knowlton, the wraparound.
Saucy. You're up 3 goals, you're 5-on-5. Why not throw behind the back? I don't know if Torpy's going to be happy with that in film session, but
thankfully for Knowlton, it was backed up easily by a teammate. Otherwise, that would have been.
He's feeling it.
So Fowler now watches Baker. Welch in the neighborhood. Of course, the clock is High Point's ally at this moment. Prendergast rejoins the action, and the penalty to Nick Walsh expires. So back on.
Big time play by Duke there. Again, another defensive turnover. Let's see if they can capitalize here in transition.
So here's Robertson. Less than 3 to play. Duke down by 3. It was Russell down behind the play. And now another turnover. Panthers trying to clear. Ball's in the stick of Acra. Russell seems to be okay. Back up on his feet now. Fresh shot clock, of course, for High Point. And now a timeout for Coach Coach John Torpy, the shot clock, and then a face-off. Thing else,
which is they play defense that they play.
Doing it in a game, colliding, turn it right back.
In their offense, they've got playing defense to turn. I know situation they're going to have again in a favor and give them a chance to cut the lead to 2.
Yeah, Upgren is at the top of the box right now. Cage is empty. Giles Harris and Prendergast looking to double team. Nolting off the whistle. Asher Nolting, ball's on the ground, but he scoops it up himself. Nolting fighting through a number of checks. Less than 2.5 to play, 50 seconds on the shot clock.
The other challenge for Duke is to not draw any flags here. They're already in a precarious situation, having the goalie out of the cage.
Wide open net.
Already in a precarious situation, having the goalie out of the cage.
Wide open net. And the finish by Chris Young.
Here, they're already in a precarious situation, having the goalie out of the cage.
Wide open net. And the finish by Chris Young. 4th goal of the evening. And with 2:12 to play, that may just have done it for the High Point Panthers.
Coach Torpy, this to support their game. And here we are, 13-9 High Point with 2 minutes left. They've dominated the faceoffs. They've dominated on offense. This was an impressive win here for Coach Torpy and his High Point team.
Duke will have the ball. 6 different scorers for High Point. 4 of them with multiple goals. Nobody with more than Chris Young, who's got 4 goals for the 2nd straight game to open the 2019 season. Is that Russell that's down again?
No,
I see the number 3, or is that?
That's something you really don't want to see if you're High Point at this point in the game. He's got a little help from the trainer, but I think he's okay. He probably just got the wind knocked out of him. He's going to go right back in there.
Saw the 3 on the jersey. But yeah, Nolting seems to be all right. Less than 2 minutes to play. Duke obviously needs to act quickly here. Walsh gets his hands free, finds Manown on the doorstep, and that is the kind of night it has been. Troutner one more time. 18 saves, many of them of that variety. Even Joey Manown is not immune to what Tim Troutner has done here tonight.
This kid is unbelievable. I never see Upgren also get involved. He had another great night. He didn't get much help. Unbelievable job by both goalies.
Upgren 10 saves of his own, but Tim Troutner, he's given up 9, but he's saved 18. Here's Sayout, another save, make it 19. Sayout tries to scoop it in one-handed as the save counter, otherwise known as Joe Sinoski, to scoop it in. 18. Here's Sayout, another save, make it 19. Sayout tries to scoop it in one-handed as the save counter, otherwise known as Joe Sinoski, just keeps ticking off numbers. Incredible effort for Troutner. Coach Torpy tried to warn us, said, look, he's one of the best in the country. I don't care who you stack up next to him. We're seeing it tonight.
And time again, left on an island, there's 19, scoops it up. I would count that as 20 just to give him extra saves because this kid deserves all the credit in the world tonight. Stood on his head. What an unbelievable effort by Troutner.
109 to play.
He hasn't seen him in
man up, new team. You'd love. This is a challenge. Is it another ace? Panthers. They're certainly
here. I mean, this is a career game here. Energy, again, all a testament to Coach Torpy and his staff and the work that they've done in a short time. The challenge for Duke, obviously, they're going to have to lick their wounds and turn around and play another game in no time here. This is something that's going to sting. Obviously not what you want to see in the outcome, but what a great early season lesson. And you know Coach Stanowski's looking at this as, how do I teach these guys how to play differently? What do we have to work on? Always self-assessing, always trying to get his guys to play better and play more efficient for when it counts at the end of the day.
On for a game. 3 games in 8 days. Blue Devils missing a number of players during the preseason to injury and illness. Certainly something to learn from.
Again, this is not the final product. I know this is going to hurt in the short term, but a great lesson for this stage in the season, and again, a major statement win here for this High Point team as they draw a foul here towards the end. I can't say enough about Coach Torp.
On the clock and goals. A pair dominated the Kobe Russell. Galore, 19 saves.
We talked about it in our call. Troutner is a guy that Coach Torpy wanted to start this week with in this conference call. He is the heart and soul of this team, and he is a guy that carried this program to an historic win here